it's nice to be back in this place, don't you think so, Sonic? I would have appreciated about this stuff, Pinkie Pie, but now we're gonna be doing a team-based gameplay. Even then, though, like, you know, taking partners and you get the suggestions here. Yeah, which is true. So, hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here. And I'm Pinkie Pie here. Hey, every pony and everyone else out there, and welcome! And, ladies and gentlemen, we are from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, of course. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Super Mario Party for the Nintendo Switch. So in the previous weekend is the fact that we did manage to play through the first board in the partner party. And that is, of course, Domino Ruins, Treasure Hunt, which I'm considering that, that board is called. But today, for this weekend, is the fact that we're about to be going through the forms of the second board in the partner party, which is known as Gold Rush Mine, which is essentially the equivalent to the forms of King Bob-omb's Powder Cake Mine. But the noticeable difference is that we'll explain more details onto this whenever we get to the actual board itself. And as you can see, that the players this time around though is going to be, well, for the majority of today, is the fact that we are playing as Boo, and to team up is the forms of Dry Bones, so that makes it a little more accurately like a spooky themed characters. So we could have appreciated if how the fact that we could able to have a haunted theme level, but it wasn't. So even then, that as far as computer players are concerned, we most likely face off against with the girls, which means Princess Peach and Princess Daisy. So aka Princess Peach to be like a very cheap AI on every single Mario Party games in the entire history. Well, I won't say it's true, because either way though, well, it's all depending on luck situations, like if she able to stumble across. Yeah, which is probably denied by that. So, yeah, as you can see for Gold Rush Mine, is the fact that obviously this takes place in the exact same location as the ones of how it does it on one of the boards in Mario Party mode. But the biggest difference is here, by the fact the matter is though, is that you know how the board is called King Bob-omb's Powder Cake Mine, but the biggest difference is here that rather than just actually going through by the forms of like getting, you know, this little counter thing on the center on a danger zone, that counter is actually increased now into 10, meaning about the fact that something might actually happen if someone else managed able to land on that specific spaces from that danger zone, which even then, we'll explain more on that whenever we stumbled across it. So, obviously we can't take a risk, because obviously we need to get ourselves our first item right there. So, let's see what we got here. Peeper Bell, which means that we can able to use that on, well, it doesn't really matter what players we can able to use it on, because most of the time it's entirely up to you. So anyways, this what happens right there. If you manage to land on that specific spot, on that danger zone, what happens is the fact that the game forces you to able to actually do a little bit of a slot roulette, and then when you hit the actual block at the right time, then you would able to actually realize that depends on what numbers you had. Just like in forms of how it does it in King Bob-omb's Powder Cake Mine in the Mario Party mode, that it'll decrease one of your number counts on the actual like the Royal Explosion events, which it happens the same thing for this particular board, but the biggest difference is here is that obviously that we no longer gonna have to land on happening spaces. So it's all depending on luck though, just because of how the fact that if sometimes you'll be safe, whilst other times though you're pretty much not safe. So even then though, although I can assume that if you get exploded by the forms of the King Bob-omb's explosion, once again you lose half of your coins. So nothing remarkably different about it, other than the fact that it's on 2-on-2 based gameplay. Well, in terms of the forms of the partner party, so it's not much else to ask for. So yeah, you know how the fact that I've now recently finished up with Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transforms Let's Play completely this time. So even then though, hopefully without any further delays or anything like that, which I'm very glad to say, that I think I managed to finally accomplish that Let's Play after several delays because of the forms of the current Let's Plays we are still doing. Yeah, probably true, and even then it was about freaking time to actually now you trying to able to conclude this Let's Play. Well, not this Let's Play just yet, because there are still a whole lot of ways to go through. So there we go, and allies right there, such as Mario right here. And I think there might be a Luigi as well, and not to mention there's also Rosalina right there. So we might get to her whenever we get the first star first, well, it's all depending of such, because as you can tell, Peach did manage to be able to use the poison mushroom on one of our partner, which is Dryburns. So that's pretty alright, as long as if we're able to actually get like higher rolls and stuff like that. But even then though, let's see, they got 5. I don't think they've got enough coins to purchase the star though, so it makes it clearly obvious for that point. But Peach is the only one she's gonna go after Mario, so as far as their first ally. So now I believe once again, much like the previous board on the partner party, we once again gonna be stuck in second place when it comes to like decisions of the actual turns we need to go for. Yeah, kind of bugging though, but even then, let's just hope if we get to the third board or something, especially the fourth and final board, once we have unlocked that, hopefully we can able to get in first this time around though, not something like second place or something, which even then, this gives computer players get a lot of good advantage when it comes to like getting more allies and such. Yeah, probably true for Deny It, or Deny It by that. Alright, so looks like we're gonna come across into another minigame, so let's see what we got. Okay, Fruit Forecast. I think we've played this before, so even then though, there's not much else to comment on, so another thing I want to explain about this actually is the fact that, well, I was originally going to try to able to get the Sega Mega Drive Classic Mini, but the only criticism I feel like, or not so much for criticism, but my mainly concern with this, I don't know if I can able to actually sell my cartridge-only versions of my Mega Drive games, specifically the original 2D Sonic, and especially noticeable with Mickey Mania, and especially noticeable with Toy Story the video game. But it's kind of hard to decide, because even then, 101! Well, seriously, what's the point of able to actually like keep on saying 101, like every single video as far as that's been concerned with? But either way, that just feels a little bit more too much on referencing with 101 Dalmatians as far as the actual film itself goes. Yeah, probably true for that. So anyways though, yeah, about the forms of like, if we're gonna be planning to able to get the Mega Drive Mini, but the thing is about that is the fact that I was assuming that much like in any other console mini variations of the game consoles themselves throughout the past, specifically the NES Mini back in 2016, and especially noticeable with the Super Nintendo Mini, that it will able to get, you know, out of stock really fast. Although, as far as I'm concerned with though, but even now, that's just how I can think about. Anyways though, so looks like Peach is gonna go for her own dice block, and looks like they got a 6, but depending if Mario gets a 2 for Peach, but despite the fact that we can able to actually just go ahead and let the Peeper do a lot of work, but even then Peach might not stand a chance for able to get the Star Space after all. Because after all, we did use the Peeper Bell after all, so eat that. Yeah, especially with the actual like some skills we actually did manage to pull off. And let's see how Daisy performs, and it looks like she's gonna go right on stopping on Dryburns. Well, to be more specifically, ground pounding on Dryburns. But anyways, enough about that, so let's go ahead and use our dice block for now. Yeah, just in case if we could able to actually catch up to the actual Star Space after all. So, yeah, 2 and a 7, so that makes a 9. So, do we still get a chance to able to get that star? Well, I would say that our companion Dryburns did manage to land on it. Okay, seems very sufficient right there. And I believe this is one of the boards they did manage to showcase back in E3 2018, just because of how the fact that they did literally show us the demonstration of another mode, which is, you know, partner party. So even then, though, I believe the players that the actual people managed to choose for that demonstration, which is Boo and Shy Guy, and especially noticeable with Yoshi and Rosalina. So even that, they mentioned about the forms of the actual partner party system works. Yeah, like, I think we already mentioned about this, didn't we? Because it's basically just Star Rush 3.0, but the biggest difference is that, you know, it's basically just, you know, 2-on-2. However, though, if you play this game on the Japanese version of Super Mario Party, it calls it Mario Party 2-on-2. Yeah, just because of how the fact that 2 people were working together as one team. Yeah, to be more exactly than that. Alright, so we got ourselves our first star in Gold Rush Mine, and let's see what the next star space is going to be. It's on the exact same location, but slightly closer to closer ahead of us. Well, at least if depending of how good the dice rolls can be, but even then, we'll see what happens there. Alright, so any new minigames yet? Nope, we still have the exact same ones again. Which again, we don't mind with, but it's just how the fact of the matter is, though, is that, we'd like to appreciate if we can able to, you know, just jump straight to the forms of, like, a new set of minigames before we do so. But, chances are, we always stumble across the exact same ones altogether. Yeah, probably true for that, so... But anyways, though, a few things I want to explain about this, actually, is the fact that, well, Pinkie Pie, have you ever, met Silver the Hedgehog before? I think I've actually met him before, but to be honest though, it does feel kind of strange with the forms of the psychokinesis powers that he's had through. But the thing is though, Pinkie Pie, is the fact that he did join me on the forms of that one particular video on Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed for a little bit. And remember that time about the fact that, excuse me, about the fact the matter is though, is the fact that normally I just managed to able to go through the Emerald Cup on the mirror version of that particular cup, and chances are that me and Silver managed to stumble across. All I realized is that all three players did manage to have the exact same amount of points, but except us anyway, because even then, that again, we are taking control of Boo right here. I believe Boo's dice block is actually very solid, but the only thing we need to worry about is of course the negative coins spots. Yeah, which is probably the only downside about that dice block to me, though. I still really think that the Shy Guy could be a better choice when it comes to, like, the spooky-themed characters, but most of the time, though, we're stuck with the forms of, like, just Boo and Dry Bones. Yeah, to make it more perfect sense with the spooky-themed characters, so... Yeah, especially with how the fact that it's been a really, really long time since, you know, Mario Party 7, and especially noticeable with Mario Party 8, that how the fact of the matter is, though, is that Boo and Dry Bones are now finally get to tag along with, you know, the actual teams. So, it's very interesting to say the least. But I'm guessing the only exception is, you know, Birdo, because Birdo, she was once again not becoming playable since Mario Party 9, which even though that has been about, that's been about, I would say 6 years since, oh crap. But it doesn't matter, because we got a 6 anyway, so do we get a chance to land on it? We're literally one space off by getting that next star. If only if we could able to actually get ourselves our ally to make ourselves a little bit easier time. But let's just go ahead and ground pound those two princesses so that we can able to steal coins from that. And along the same boat is the fact that Dry Bones might actually land on the exact same spot as we are. So hopefully we can actually get even more coins from Never, so even then let's do a nice little high five right there. I believe you could also use the right button on the actual Joy-Con, so that way it technically counts. Yeah, because you know, it makes it pretty obvious here. Alright, so Trip Navigator, so I think we've played this before, but I don't suppose if the track layout is going to be slightly different every time you actually replay the minigame, or is it just pretty much plays exactly the same thing? I really don't know, because even then, because the screen is actually constantly scrolling. Yeah, it's probably true. Alright, so, yeah, let's just go ahead and just take some nice little shortcuts, especially because you know how with, if you're trying to get rid of those little banana peels and stuff like that, you can actually make this minigame too easy for my liking. Yeah, probably true from that. So, anyways, so, it looks like Dry Bones is in second place, although... With the free-for-all minigames though, even with 4-player minigames, don't forget, it's the fact of the matter is though, is that whenever your teammate was actually in second place, well, turns out that you don't get any coin bonus, so instead you only have to carry like 8 coins at a time. Yeah, kinda like how you did, you're able to claim first place on the Mario Party mode, so that makes it a little bit more of a difference anyway. But either way though, that's as far as we can think about. Alright, I can't remember what turn we're in. I think we're in... What turn are we now? I think we're in turn 5 already. I think out of all the boards of this game though, I think this might actually be one of the shortest boards of the bunch. Well, depending on how the fact of how long will it take. If all depending of the forms of the actual animations might take a really long time to able to actually finish up with. But anyways, let's see what Peach is gonna do. She's gonna land on that item space with no questions asked for. And it looks like she's got herself an ally phone, so no matter what though, she'll probably use it. And same applies for, well, Daisy did manage to squish both of us actually, so that's not good. But I'm guessing that she's gonna have a payback for us for, you know, trying to steal coins from. But let's just hope if we can able to actually directly land on that star space. But again, it's all depending on the forms of the actual dice rolls and stuff, so let's see. 6 and a 7, so that makes 13. So do we get a chance to able to actually get to that star space? Truth be told, I think Drybones actually made it there. But, to be honest with you, I think we should probably go after the first ally of the game, or in this case, the first ally in this board, which will have to be by the forms of Rosalina, so... And alongside with that, however, though, is the fact that much like in the forms of Domino Ruins Treasure Hunt, there's also that special pickup item that you can able to grab, but this time around there's actually the pickaxe, so even then... However though, unlike in the forms of the treasure chest key, that you can only carry one of them, so even then though that there's no respawning of those key spots, so you only have to grab just only one key, and you only have like one chance to do it. But even then though, in this board this time around though, I believe they're gonna send us about 2 pickaxes, so even then though, there's one from the left side, and the other from the right side, so and I believe because of how the fact that we need to once again make our way to the forms of that happening space right there. And speaking of such, I think we're actually getting quite close to the forms of that star space, just right from there. Almost right near to the pickaxe, don't forget. Yeah, because, you know, I see that little familiar object, but hey. Alright, so new minigame here, we have Juice Box. Tasty juice right there. Work together to bracket the pattern shown in the example. There are always 2 correct patterns to find, or find rather. So basically that we need to able to actually like cooperate to each other to able to actually get a matching pattern right there. So, and this time around though, as you can tell, that it takes place on the exact same setting of the likes of how it does it on Absent Mind, and especially noticeable with Stake Your Claim. But the biggest difference is here is the fact that the actual season of this minigame this time around, it takes place in summer. Yeah, because in the forms of Stake Your Claim, it was actually by the forms of spring, and Absent Mind, it was actually by the forms of autumn. But in here, it's actually in summer. Yeah, clearly because you can see there are no pink blossom trees around here. Unlike in the forms of, you know, Stake Your Claim, that it does have some forms of pink blossom trees. Yeah, to make more likely represented with spring. I don't think there's any winter variation of that particular minigame though. I think it's because of how the fact that they might actually get, well, chilly or cold. Probably such, you can imagine about that. But anyways though. Whew, that's quite a lot of things to mention about this. Oh, Sonic, you forgot about one thing you forgot to mention. Oh, what is that? Oh yeah! Recently, that today is the forms of, well, the 6th of April. And recently that the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, the final season, aka Season 9, is managed able to shown off by the forms of the first 2 episodes during recently today. And I'm gonna say though, I'm gonna be pretty sad, especially upsetting with whatever with that show is gonna go, even by the forms of like Up to Heaven or something, and move on to the next generation. If it goes like the true finale of the forms of like the actual show itself, especially if we're still the part of the Brony community, and we do still enjoy it even to this day. And I will say though, is the fact that whenever it gets to the end, especially with the finale of Season 9, I'm gonna be tears, or I mean, in this case, I'm gonna be bursting with tears, even because I will gonna miss it very much. Well, it all depends on that, you know, the release dates, schedules. But even then though, that we'll find things out at some point or another, so... Anyways, 1, that's terrible, and -2, that's also terrible as well. But in this case though, we can still get an item though. Yeah, by the forms of that item space, but still. We kinda wish there was actually more variety with the forms of like the actual dice rolls and stuff. But either way though, oh dear, looks like, Drybones, you screw us over! So yeah, basically just like before, if the counter goes to 0, then it takes you to the Loyal Explosion event, or in this case, the Royal Explosion, so... And I believe once again it's good, you know, I think we mentioned about this, didn't we? that it once again takes your half of your coins away. So, yeah, kind of a bit of a problematic though still, but even then though, yeah. And as to be expected, it resets the time back to 10, so yeah, that makes it clearly obvious here. So, do we get another new minigame? Nope, not yet, but we got a snack attack anyway, so I think we actually did fail this last time, but let's just hope if we can able to be victorious this time around. But again, we'll see what happens there, so anyway. Alright, so there's a popcorn right there. Okay, so we got that. And as far as we actually did see, although we haven't exactly watched the episode yet, but, well, in terms of like the first 2 episodes of season 9 so far, but even then, we'll mention more on that whenever we get to the next board of the partner party, I should say, because even then, well, I suppose I could really say is the fact that whenever when it gets to Monday, the forms of Monday the 8th, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's the 8th of April. About the fact that I can't really speak today because even then, I'm so excited to be able to actually watch the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic again. But this time around, though, we now lead it up to the final season. So, but anyways, though, I will be back on the forms of Shadow the Hedgehog Let's Play, so that way I can able to actually get that game finished before we able to completely done with most of these Sonic games. Although there are some games exceptions, like for instance, for example, by the forms of the Sonic Advance trilogy, and the Sonic Rush trilogy means including Sonic Colors for the DS, and especially with Sonic Pocket Adventure for Neo Geo Pocket Color, and what else is completely related to the Sonic title? I would say Knuckles Chaotix, but that was actually like you know, made for Sega Mega Drive 32X, which I still found that add-on to be quite pathetic on that part. Which even though, it's a shame because I haven't really experienced that game just yet. Because that game is like super expensive, unless if you're able to access it from the emulator. At least that's as far as I can usually think about for that part. And, oh, looks like we got ourselves a little bit of a good roll right there. And looks like we'll go ahead and get ourselves Rosalina as our first ally in this board. So even then, we'll go ahead and use that until the next turn for her dice block, as far as I should say so. And not to mention that we also did manage to pick up the actual pickaxe. So even then, though, that again, just like the treasure chest key, we can't use it anywhere else. So you only have to use it when you land on that specific happening space from that the left side of that particular board. Yeah, just like in the forms of the treasure chest from, you know, Domino Ruins Treasure Hunt. I should probably mention about this actually, is the fact that after when you're able to be completely done with that event space, whenever you get something rewarding, like stars for instance, basically, or I'll explain more on that later, because we have another new minigame, Perfect Fit. Alright, fit the blocks pieces together, rotate Joy-Con, and relaying the 2 halves of the block. So basically, you have to tilt the Joy-Con until you're able to fit the pieces together. And don't worry, this is nothing to do with like we suck at this minigame or not, because we did manage to able to practice that for a little bit. So, anyways, let's get to it. And of course, just like Sizzling Steaks, and especially noticeable with Candy Showdown, you always have to press that right button on that Joy-Con before you start. So, yeah, just in case if it needs to be calibrating with motion controls in here and there. So, but again, I don't mind that at all. So, Fernando, let's go ahead and deal with this nice little high five again. So, hopefully we'll get 10 coins from out of that. So, yeah, you get the idea for that point. So, but yeah, as I was saying, that after when you're able to land on that happening space, every time you actually get like a star or something, like for instance that treasure chest for example, as I mentioned earlier, that I believe that event space will be gone forever until you're able to actually replay that board again. Yeah, it makes it obvious because even then though that if someone actually makes it there first, then they're able to actually let the happening space will about to be gone away. So that makes it a little bit of a more of a, you know, sense of coincidence anyway. Alright, so I wonder what turn are we in. I think we're actually on turn 8. Jeez, time really does fly, doesn't it? Yeah, especially with how the fact that most of these turns go down really quickly. Yeah, especially because, you know, again, that, you know, with the exact same playstyle as Star Rush, and especially with the top 100. Well, despite the fact that in Star Rush and the top 100, that you have to go ahead and get yourselves a coin balloon before you start the minigame up. But in this particular game, even for the entire game itself, you can now actually play the minigames when the turn is over. So, yeah, because it makes it sense for any forms of any other Mario Party game. Yeah, because it's true. Because unlike in, the previous NDQ Mario Party titles, specifically Mario Party 9, 10, and stuff like that, then you have to land on that versus spaces every time. Well, if depending of, the luck factor comes in. So, anyways, let's see what we got next. We have Making Faces, another new minigame. Jeez, it's gonna be most likely 2 versus 2 for that part. Make a face. One player controls the left to right movement, while the other controls forward and back. So, this minigame is kind of like how it did like a combination of both Facelift from Mario Party 1, 2, and the top 100. And especially noticeable with that one particular challenge, if you ever played Super Mario Odyssey before, but except rather than just actually capturing the forms of that particular image icons, instead we need to utilize the claw machine to be able to actually adjust the angle, so just in case we can able to get the right angle for that actual like placements of depending what 2 characters you can able to actually match with. Like for instance, for example, we're about to be matching the forms of the actual like, we're trying to able to place one of its eyes for Mario, and at the end, it's always at the end, but it forms of like the mouth and the nose and stuff like that. But even then, that this minigame is actually pretty cool for the most part, especially because if you ever played Super Mario Odyssey before, then you most likely might be familiar with this one. So, and in fact, we got 80%. Although this minigame is also kind of similar to Picture Imperfect from Mario Party 3, except that you don't have to rely on that timing aspect with the forms of the actual, like, the estimation mark block, but, we have to, like, slightly gentle, press by the forms of that specific buttons you press, like, depending what, position you're in. Like, for instance, that, if we're slightly off by the forms of the actual center of the mouth or some kind, well, we do need to able to gently press the button before you're able to get good results from. See, I really do like that minigame. It's also kind of hilarious at the same time, too, because whenever when your face is messed up or what have you, well, chances are you're probably gonna get a low score from here. Oh, wow, they literally got very lucky right there. Oh, speaking of lucky, I could imagine about the fact that I would say Peach might get this star. Yeah, because, they got the matching bonus, because even then, I just cannot believe they got that. Yeah, after all that, a lot of effort has been done for. Even because of how the fact that, well, again, if you get like a matching bonus, basically you get yourselves 5 coins each time. Yeah, but what can you do? And also at the moment right now, Team Peach actually got more allies than us at the moment. So, again, we're still very lacking with ally system in this mode. I think it's most likely because of the beginning portion of the game before you start the game. Or in this case, before you start the board, we just got so unlucky for able to actually get, like, lesser amounts of allies. Well, at least in terms of more allies, because our companion doesn't do anything at all, other than just concentrate on the actual star itself. Well, talk about that tradition that Daisy might not get that next star, because obviously, Peach already spends all their coins to that star. Alright, so the next star space is gonna be it's back into that danger zone once again. And let's just hope if we don't lose some of these coins again. Well, if all depending and such, because again, you need to incorporate with the forms of that rotation roulette block. So anyways though, let's go ahead and use the Rosalina dice block, so just in case we could able to catch up for that point. And we'll go ahead and get ourselves the... Okay, 2, that's fine. And 6 is okay. And it looks like we get ourselves a 9. So, I don't know what space we could land on, but I'm guessing we'll go and take it as it is. And it looks like Dry Bones might actually go ahead and just say right now that he might get a chance to able to land on that special event space. Because, obviously, that since we got a pickaxe after all, so it could be a lot more potentials if he actually decided to go for this. So... Okay, lost in a shuffle. So, since we already succeeded for this last time, so let's see if we can do this again. But hopefully we don't get, like, sightseeing and all that stuff, so let's just hope. Okay, so it's on the middle, so I'll keep an eye on it, so... Again, that last few shuffles is going to be a little bit difficult right there. In fact, I actually easily lose my sight right there. Pinkie Pie, do you know the clue?
I'll take the middle.
I don't know, but we'll see what happens there. Alright, results.
Oh, what the?
Oh, we're so close. Oh, that was rough. That is really rough for that little, you know, out of focus for that point. Because, again, that last shuffle part is actually a really fast and pretty, difficult to able to see. Yeah, no, because of how the fact that you have to be ridiculously, like, you know, deeply in focus, instead of, like, you know, just getting distracted by the forms of that little, vision standpoints? Probably so for that. I don't know. I just did not even know. But anyways though, so it looks like Peach might actually use that Luigi dice block, and looks like Daisy's gonna use her own one. And then combines with 4 and 1, and not to mention with 2 and 2, so in this case Peach might actually get ourselves a little bit of a faster start. Well, if all the matter is because of how the fact that, well, you know. Alright, so it looks like the button's been already active, so in this case, 2. So far, anyway, we don't seem to get that much hidden blocks around here. Yeah, which is odd because, again, they all appeared in random places. Yeah, which is probably true for the sake of doubts. Okay, quicker right there because I need to fetch more chili dogs. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and use the Rosalina dice block again. So let's see what we got this time. 6 and 2 coins, that's fine. And, okay, so, yeah, I just thinking of to myself of something else for a moment ago. Anyways, though, and soon to say, we actually made it to the star space. Not bad at all. And I believe we got another star from that pickaxe section, I really don't know. But, we'll see what happens there if Dry Bones manage to move. But anyways, though, so let's go ahead and take ourselves our 3rd star in this particular board. It seems like we're doing pretty well from this particular board, unlike in the forms of how it does in the beginning portion of Domino Ruins Treasure Hunt, that sometimes the actual processing of getting to the stars can be very slow at times. But whatever, but at least we got that anyway. And conveniently enough is the fact that we actually gone for this particular board with 1 space away. Oh well, no big deal. I can assume that in the next turn, hopefully this should have able to happen. So, alright, so it looks like the next star is going to be on the right side of the actual board, and almost near to the forms of that 2nd pickaxe. So, I can assume you can able to actually carry these 2 pickaxes, which, depending on what teams that you're in, which I don't know exactly for surely, but even then, we'll see what happens there. Alright, Bumper Brawl. So even then, note that, obviously we did manage to able to get a terrible mistake last time, so let's just not screw this up this time. Well, because of how the fact that, well, the problem with this is, we are pretty lacking with allies at this point, so chances are, we'll easily get screwed over. No! Thanks a lot, Dry Bones. You ruined us. And looks like, yeah, our companion got screwed over due to Luigi's, computer AI right there, so I cannot believe we lost that still. Although, it's fun all in all, but even then though, it's just that we're far lacking with partner companions. Well, not so much for partner companions, but most accurately, the ally system. Well, aside from we've already just got 1, but it doesn't help without the fact that we need to get more allies until, let's just say, the last 3 turn event. So, expecting as such, then, you know, you get the idea for that point. Anyways though, so let's go ahead and get on moving. I believe we're now in the last 10 turns already. Yeah, I believe we're in halfway through for that part too. So anyways though, looks like Peach gets the highest roll, just like before. And looks like that you're able to go up to the north. And convenient enough, oddly enough, is that, well, I just don't know what to think about for right now. Anyways though, so Daisy gets a lucky space, and let's see what events is she gonna be able to... God damn it! Thanks a lot! Thanks a lot, you moron. Hey.